according to their requirements and what has to be done after their engineering or after the graduations which they have been completed, which platform will be the best and which platform which can be accepted, or else how a graduate can survive for the next 5 years, for the next 10 years, and which technology will holds good for them and according to their expertise, and how do they do it. These are the sort of problems which other graduates are facing nowadays, and how the technical things has to be handled, how the soft skills needs to be handled, how to be attractive, or how to be discussed with the teammates or with the corporate culture, how to do it. These are the problems which are facing from the graduate side. And when it comes to company sides, which are the from level 1 to level 5, which is level 1 will be the startup and level 5 with the big giants of the companies. So each and every levels of the companies are striving or struggling to get the right candidates to them. Yes, approximately we are around 10 lakh people are getting out of their college every year. But still, companies are struggling to get the right candidates, which means they are not getting the candidates which are able to work. Even though they have talent, they have hard work, which are the skill sets which are lacking to their company's standards are being missing. So that's where we come into pictures. We take up the problems from the graduate sides, we take up the problems from the company sides, and we match what will be the solutions for that one. That's where the digital wikis will be providing the solutions for both the platforms. When it comes to students, we'll be providing the exact trainings, will be providing the exact workshops or trainings, what they have to be done within this period of training, what the companies are willing to take up the graduates after their training, how they are going to train, and how we have to train them, how the companies want us to train the graduates to get into their better positions, and how they will be employed with the companies. So that's where the graduates pro solutions will be giving, and will be providing the trained freshers to the company so that they don't need to worry about any of the freshers who joins the company. So that's how we come into picture. So what is our goal? To this goal is a simple goal which we have, which is two things: the skills and personality development. Within these two skills, we are to empower the youth of our country and the state of the graduations. I'm not talking about the students because you are the next graduates. So that's why I'm addressing you as a graduate of the graduates, the youth, the graduates to empower their personalities, empower their personality development skills, empower their technical skills, soft skills, everything to match the modern industrialization standards. That's our goal, to make everyone to be trained perfect to the corporate standards. Why you should choose us? Maybe there will be a questions. Okay, everyone will be giving training, and what's the unique difference between the other companies and your company? So we are conducting with instructor led live demonstrations. We are not just giving us sessions, and we are not just giving a training materials to them. No, that's not what we do. We do with the live trainings, and the solutions or the queries will be solved then and there itself only along with you, and you'll be giving a practice time for that one, and you'll be allowed to instructor to ask questions, and they will be contacting every week, every time. They'll be following up with you what work has been done, what work has to be done, and what work you have been done, what improvement has to be. That's how the instruction-led live demonstrations will be done. And case studies will be giving further blowing of the playing exercises, what you are being training within this period of time. And when it comes to job placement assistance, we are saying that the difference between job providing jobs and job assistance is different. We are in the second part, which is providing assistance, what you has to prepare yourselves, how you have to prepare yourselves, and why you have to prepare yourselves, and how can you prepare yourselves, what are the steps you have to take to prepare yourselves, making that you are the best candidate and you are the preferred candidate to that company. That's how we make that one. And when it comes to nominal fee structures, we are just nominal fee structures, which will be explained later. We are not charging a huge amount of things which make you to get into the companies. No, we are not just charging the minimal fee structure itself only. And when it comes to training, we are matching the industrial standard training itself. And when it comes to certifications, yes, we'll be providing you complete certifications on your completion of the trainings. Apologies for the interruption. So that's how we are giving other structures of our company. These are the six placement, the six goals of our company. Why you should choose us is the six pillars of our company. This is based on these six choose points we standardize ourselves from difference from the other companies. So this is how we are having, and that's about us. And you can uh, contact us with trainings at digitalwikis.com, or you can contact us through phone number or WhatsApp. You can do it, and you can visit our website, which is www.digitalwikis.com, for further more information. You can contact us any point of time, and we are all available in all the social media platforms. You can just contact us for that one. So I'll open the queue for question and answers. So if have any doubts regarding the questions, you can raise your hands. So we are happy to uh, answer your questions before starting the training session. I think I haven't heard any questions right now. So let's start the training session. So let me introduce to our trainer, who is Sirisha, who will be taking forward. Sirisha, over to you.
Yeah, Elsanil, thank you. Good morning, everyone. Myself is Sirisha. Today, I'm explaining about that Angular concepts. Okay, can I share my screen? And then once my screen is visible, please confirm. Yeah, Anil, is it visible?
Yes, Sirisha, you can carry on.
Yeah, thank you. Here I'm going to the topic is the Angular today. What's the Angular means? First of all, we know Angular is one of the front-end language, so front-end technology. Here, the Angular is open source web application framework developed by the Google to create single-page applications using the HTML and TypeScript. Here is the Angular is one of the open source web application framework, and it is developed by the Google to create a single-page applications using the HTML and TypeScript. All the members know about the HTML, but some of the members only know about the TypeScript. TypeScript is also one of the superscript of the JavaScript. Later on this, I will explain this in depth about the TypeScript. Angular combines the declarative templates, dependency injection, end-to-end tooling, and integrated best practices to solve the development challenges. Here, Angular combines the more declarative templates. That means HTML files, dependency injections, APIs, and then all combined to solve the development challenges here. Angular empowers developers to build applications that live on the web, mobile, desktop. Angular is a most web application framework that offers the rich user experiences. And then first, responsiveness. Responsiveness means it will be very flexible to the web and the phone also. So and then first, responsiveness and code maintainability. In this Angular, we maintain the code is very flexibility. And then this tool was created by the in created back in 2009 by Google to assist the web development. And then Angular includes a component based framework for building scalable web applications, a collection of well integrated libraries that cover a wide variety of features, including routing, forms management, client server communications, and more. Here I'm showing the benefits of the Angular. Here, Angular features. Angular provides the mobile development, TypeScript, improved dependency injection, improved data binding, directives, improved routing, browser support, cross-platform. Here I'm explaining the just brief theoretically about these all the points. Later on, we will discuss all the things in depth. Okay, here TypeScript. TypeScript. This file is a superscript of the JavaScript. Whenever you want to showcase anything in the browser, that all the code will be in HTML only. So for that HTML file, logics will be maintained in the TypeScript file only, right? Improved dependency injection. Whenever you hang any dependency on the third-party libraries, that will be easily maintained in Angular. And then data binding. Whenever we hang the data in backend, that will be using an integrated with the front end. This data binding using to fetch the data in the files. Directives. Directives means it will be change the behavior of the elements. In the directives we are having the more. We will discuss in this workshop only. So improved routing. Routing means already all the members know about this. All the members using the Android. All the latest phones only. In that we are showing the routing. Routing means it will be changing the one view to another view. Whenever we click on the add button or either buttons or either routing, so all the things it will be shifting to the one HTML view to another HTML view. And then browser support. Angular support Angular supports all the browsers. And then cross platform. Cross platform is nothing but Angular integrated with the any backend or either Java or either Python, whatever it may be. We are hanging the backend, the Angular in the front end side, it will be integrated with the all the type of the backends. And then mobile development, it will be very responsiveness. Responsiveness means it will be flexibility with the both mobile and web. That these are the features. And then
Sinisha,
Angular.
sorry to interrupt. Can you just put it in
Yeah.
the slideshow presentation mode?
Yes, Anil.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry, Anil. Sorry for the interruption. Yeah, this is the Angular features. I'm going to the next slide here. Yeah, Angular architecture overview. Here, the Angular is a combination of the building blocks. Because of the in Angular, we contained so many blocks, and then whenever we get the main things, we will discuss on this. Here, the Angular architecture overview. In this Angular, mainly we are using the five things. These five things only our Angular application will be maintained by these things only. These are the modules, components, directives, routing, and services. Here I'm giving the brief introduction about this. Later on, we will discuss all the things in deeply. First thing is the module contains routers, components, services, and more. Here in back, we are having the remaining components, directives, routing services. All the things will be included in the modules. Because of here, see in this PPT slide, here we are having the routing services, directives, and then components. Here we see this is a navigation component is one of the component, and then search component is another component. Here we showing this one is the one component, this one is the component. So here, what is the module? So imagine that now uh, we are having the student details and then staff details, and now I'm creating the number of components. At a time I will run the application with these number of components, means I will take the time to run the application in the browser. So that is the reason, whenever I want to only student details, means at that time just I'm executing only, I'm running only one of the module related to the student module. At that time the browser will be run fast, and then at that time whenever we want the staff details, then only we will run that staff module. So because of we are using the modules, means uh, we need to save the time. Otherwise we need to whenever we run the all the components at a time, means we will consume the more data. So we need to reduce the time. So sorry, not data, time. We are consuming the more time to run the application at a time by the number of components. So I'm integrated with the components into the different modules. At the time whenever I want some specific module, specific data, at the time that related module only I will run that module. So at that time we will save the time. So at that time the application will be run very fastly. So this is the module. So that's the reason within the module we are having the components, routings, directives, services, all the things will be in one module. So next thing is the component. Here component is the very important block of the Angular application. Here whatever you do in the application, that will be included in the components only. So components contains the templates, logics, and data and formatting part of the DOM tree. Here in this module we are containing the one of the app component. App component is the main component, and then this one also called as a root component. Here, remaining things three are the we are creating the components as navigation component, search component, and another one is the dashboard components. These three components will be created under the app component because of the parent component only having the child components and then nested components. But here app component is the parent component. These are the structure of the DOM tree. Here, main component, and then they are having the child components, and then the child components having the nested components. Like this, we are creating number of components in this one. Here we are creating the number of components under the main components. So next directives. Here the directives allows you to attach the behavior of elements in DOM tree. Here the directives means whenever here three types of directives are there. That is the structural directives, and then component directives, and then behavioral directives. These directives we are using to change the behavior of element. Here the one of the directive is the ng class, ng style. Whenever you are applying the style to the any element, that element behavior will be changed. Like that, here directories are used to change the behavior of the element. And then in this directories, one of the directives is structural directives. In that structural directories, we are having the three types: ngif, ng switch, ng for. So already we know about the if else cases, switch cases, and then for loops in the C, basic language as C. So in that we are having the if case, else case, and then switch. All the cases will be repeated here in Angular, but here we are adding the ng for that if cases, and then for loops and switch cases. Later on we will discuss in theoretically and practically. So next one is the routing. Angular route enable the navigation from one view to another view. May know all the people know about this routing because of the all members using this routing in our daily life. Here I'm taking the navigation. In that navigation, I'm having the four buttons: home, profile, shop, products. So I want to shop anything means and click on the shop. It will change the one view to another view. That shop view to that will change to the order details. In that order details, whatever I want to see the details on my orders, it will showing. Whenever I want to check out, in order details I have the other option or another button is checkout. When I'm click on the checkout button, just completely and come out to the application. So this is the routing process. Routing means we will give the buttons or either need to add the path, whatever it may be, it will route to the one HTML view to another HTML view. So next slide is the services. Here services may serve as your business logic layer, data layer, etc. It encapsulates your data and logic implementation. Here where services are injectable with the injectable decorator here, and then is services simply it will be mediator between the our local to server. Whatever we send the data to the server, that will be stored in that server. Whenever we want the data, that server will be get the data from the server to serve our local. So here we are exchanging the data from the server using the services. Just note on this point, this is the server is the mediator between our local system to server. Whenever we exchange the data from our system to server, server to system, vice versa, it will be exchange the data between the system to server by the services. So these five things we need to include in our system means first before that we need to include Node.js and then Visual Studio Code. Both we need to install in our local system. Then only we will execute all the things. Next one is the checking the version. Just I'm having up to now I'm explaining theoretical only. Uh, Now I'm explaining everything within the practical on explanation and practical. So this is the checking the version of our application. To check the version of npm node installations in your mission, open the command prompt. So here I'm completely telling this one once. So in desktop, just I'm creating the one of the new folder here. So please listen carefully. I am doing practically. After this completion, we will do practically. Okay, you and me both. Here I'm naming the application is the Angular application. I'm creating this. One second. You see here, whenever I'm clicking on the open folder, this is the empty folder. Just I'm clicking on that. Whenever I'm having the path like this, whenever you hang, that is the correct location on your application. Just click on that and then type the cmd. It will open with a command prompt. So this is the one of the process. Here I'm giving the command is code space dot. Whenever you give this command, click on the enter button. Just it will open in the Visual Studio Code. See here, this is my application. Here, this is the folder name. This is the one process. Or either if you want to do the another process is, whenever you having this Visual Studio Code means, just go to the file and open the folder and select the folder and open it. Same as it will open the same thing. See here, this is the two ways opening your application. So now whenever you are having in terminal only, open the terminal. In the terminal, you need to give the commands to check the version of the npm. Here, see here npm version. How to check the npm version? Whatever you installed in your Angular Visual Studio Code version. So here we can see the npm version. Yeah, I'm typing the npm-v. Here it will show the npm version. I'm using the current npm version is the 7.20. If you are having more than that, it is no problem. Just my version is this, and then updated version also no problem. Here I'm checking the npm version here, and then next one is the node version checking. Node for the node version we are checking using the command is node version. Here I'm typing the code as the command node iPhone version. So I'm using the 16th version of the Visual Studio Code. So now we are using the 18th version, I think, but there is no problem. Here, next thing is that here the checking of the version. Here to check the version of npm and node install in your mission. Here the open a command prompt or terminal type. Here I'm using the terminal. If you want to check on the terminal means at the time of the CMD we get this terminal. So here also we you can check here node iPhone v. It will check the same. It will showing the both are same. Command prompt and terminal both are working as the same process. So that's the reason just I'm using the terminal version only. So next thing is that here now we are creating one of the Angular project. Within that only we will learn practically and theoretically both all the topics here. So here create a folder Angular application. Already I'm created one folder, create application inside your chosen directory. As in my case, in document directory, open a command prompt or terminal makes you sure on the right folder, then type. See, already I said to you, whenever you are having on the right folder, other time only you will open the command prompt, then you can give the command as a code space dot. Here I'm opening the my folder and then next thing is the CLI version. Now I'm checking the Angular version. Still now I'm checking only Node version and NPM version. Now I'm checking the my Angular version. So if you are having the older versions means that will be not good because of the some of the NPM node modules are still updated. So that updated versions are not executed in the older versions. So that's the reason I'm checking the Angular version now. So now I'm checking the Angular version. So here the command is the ng-version. So here I am okay. I'm drag this one. Here we see my Angular version is the 11th version. Now Angular 14 is there, but 12, 11, 13, 14, these are the small differences. So there is no problem. If you are using the Angular CLI version 7, 8 means that is the problem. Just you need to update your Angular versions. So I'm using the 11th version. So these are the checking of the commands for the Angular version node npm. Now I'm creating the application now. Here Angular creating the application means we need to give the command is the ng new project name. Ng is related to the Angular, so we will use that same as ng and then new project name. Okay, here I'm creating one of the new project here in this terminal only. So here I'm having the related path as an Angular application. This is the my folder, right? So in this folder only, I'm creating the new application. The command is the ng new. My application name is the Angular. Just simply I'm taking the Angular. So here, whenever I'm clicking on the enter button, here we need to observe carefully because of the at that creation of the application, that Angular application suggests some questions to us because of the here this question is related to the Angular is tricky or not. But here I'm not using the tricky application because of the if you are using any data types or either something in our application, we need to mention particular thing only. But I don't want tricky in my application. So here I'm choosing the no. So next one, it will asking about that. Would you like to add routing, Angular routing here? So now in this application, I will use the Angular routing. So whenever I'm creating the number of components means I want to change the one component view to another view. So at that time, I want routing. So at the time of the application creation only, I'm carefully choosing the option is S for the Angular routing. So next question from the is CSS. Here, I want to apply some styles to my application. So that's the reason here also I'm choosing the CSS. But here I'm choosing the one of the advanced concept is SCSS. See here, I'm clicking the down arrow. It will choosing the SCSS. Not this is much as more complicated. It is a small advanced concept of the CSS. I think all the members know about the cascading style sheets. We are applying any colors or any bold or any the font styles, whatever it may be, you need to beautify the browser document, then it will be helpful for that. So that is the reason here I'm choosing the SCSS for my application. So now I'm hit the enter. It will run the applications. Max, it will take the more than 1 minute because of the it will included with the node modules, project structure, and then whatever it is helpful for our application, all the things will be installed now only. So that's the reason it will install all the npm packages. That's the reason it will take the more than 1 minute time to install all the things related to this application. So up to now, I'm going to the PPT now. Just here it will be created after the completion of the application. So all the packages installed successfully means then it will showing this like this. In an Angular application, we are showing this. We will show this type of the project structure files. So just see here, just please give the 1 minute of the time to this application. It will be installed all the things. Right? See here, I'm opening the application means it will give the folder structure, right? So all the modules will be installed. So here we are getting the node module source. Don't worry, what are these things? I will explain all the things in depth only. Here only I'm explaining all the things about this folder structure. So the package is installed successfully, right? It will be ending. See here is the node modules. This folder contains the packages, folders of the packages, which are installed into your application when you created a project in Angular. Whenever you created the project in Angular, the node modules will be installed automatically. If you installed any third-party packages, then also their folders are going to be stored within this node modules folder. If you installed any third-party libraries, then all the things will be installed automatically in this node module folders. See here, all the things will be installed in this node module folder. Here we are getting the so many things up to max 100 files will be installed within the node modules. So this is the main package in Angular. So without these node modules, we can't able to run the application. So must and should be install the node modules. If we are missing this folder, unfortunately, we will delete this folder means again, you will give the command is npm I or npm install. So then again, the node module will be installed in your application. So command is for npm I or either npm install. When we are using this command means whenever you don't have the node modules in your application, then only we will use this command. In these node modules, we are having the all third-party libraries and then what we are using in our applications are the either forms or either any components, all the things will be stored in these node modules only. So next slide is the source directory. Here in this application, we are having the source. Whenever you collapse this button, in this source directory, we are having the many things in that. So as expected here, so as you would expect, source code of the actual application is located inside of the source directory. So here in node modules, we are having the all the third-party libraries. Whatever we will use in this application, that forms are either something will be in Angular node modules only. So actual our code and then components are either what already we discussing about that modules, routers, directives, all the things will be inside the source directory only. Here the apps, assets, environments, all the things related to the application only. So that's the thing here in that source directory. Next one is the source app directory. Inside of the app directory, you place all the files that alter the look, functionality of your application. This includes components, modules, services, guards, and pipes. Here we see in this application, I'm collapsing this one. Here I'm expanding this one. Sorry. Here we are getting the app.routing.module.ts. So this routing module will be here for that at the time of the creation of the application. I'm giving the S for routing, right? So that is the reason here we get this file app.routing.module.ts. In this routing.module only, uh, we will give the path for the components. So here this routing.module.ts file will be useful for the given the routing to the all the components. Next one is the app.component.html. Here this one is the template file. See here just name as different some all the here we are having the different name for this. Here the app.component.html. This is the HTML file. Some of the members call as a template file. Some of the members call as a view file. So uh, don't be worried about the different names, but file is only one. Application HTML file, template file, view file. Three names are only one thing as the HTML file. Okay. Here the next one is the app.component.scss. This file is used to apply the styles for whatever you will write in the HTML file that will be styled by using the SCSS file. And then the next thing is the app.component.spec.ts. This file will be useful for the unit test case. Whatever you write the code for that, here we will use the unit test case. So in this workshop, just we are not discussing about that unit test case. So that is the reason I'm skipping this application. So I'm skipping this file. So just I'm explaining only HTML, CSS, and then this is the main one of the app.component.ts. This is the TypeScript file. TS is nothing but a TypeScript. This is the super script of the JavaScript. Here, app.component.ts file is also known as a logic file. Logics means in whatever you will write in that HTML, so that code will be logic. That code for that code we will write the logics in this logic file only, or either TypeScript file. Both are same. Don't confusing here also. We are specified by the two names for the TypeScript file. One is the logic file, and then is the TypeScript file. Okay. These four, whenever you're creating the component, only four files will be visible. And then here in app.module.ts, already we know about that module. In one module, we are having the number of components, services, and then all the things. So here, whenever you integrated with the any another modules, so we need to import here for the modules here. See here, app routing module. At the time of creation, I'm clicking on the S side. So that is the reason here I'm defaultly install this app routing module. If you installed any other modules by manually, at the time you need to import that module in the imports array. So here where is the array? So sorry, here whenever you give the data within the square brackets, that one is called as a array. Okay. See here, imports array means imports. We are giving the square brackets here, right? So that's the reason I'm called this one as the imports array. So sorry for the interruption. Yeah, here in source of directory, yeah, we are getting the these things defaultly. In source of directory, we get the one of the app routing module TS, component.html, and then SCSS, spec.ts, component.ts, and module TS. These things we get the defaultly at the time of the creation of application only. So next slide is going to the source assets directory. Source assets directory, you can place assets that are required for your application. Inside of this folder, assets includes images, icons, fonts, and more. The CLI will serve these files together with your application. See here in after the app, we are getting the assets. Here, assets means whatever you are having in your application. For example, you need to upload any files or either any images for this application. So at that time in assets, just right click on and then new folder. Just create the one of the folder here. Then again, just give the name for these images. Whatever you want to apply the images in this application. So please store it in that and then use it later. So this is the assets purpose. In this assets, not only images, you can upload the files also here. Whatever you want, any images or either files or either any GIF things, whatever you are having the any animations, all the things first we need to stored in this assets folder. Then we will apply the application by using the path. Already here, see On this app.module.ts, here app routing module is imported here. See here, this is the path. So like this, after whatever you stored in this asset, if you use the asset in this application. So next is source environment directory. Next that define the environment variables of your application. Environment dot production dot ts and then environment dot ts. See here, environment ts and see here then equal to production false because of here environment is nothing but our list. So in a local production, then here I'm doing and then I'm not giving
Sirisha, your voice is
Uh,
just
break.
we get a default production.
Sirisha, sorry for the interruption. Your voice is a bit feeble. Your voice is breaking out.
Is it okay now? Hello.
Yeah, much better.
Yeah, now it's clear.
Right, it's got better now.
Thank you. And then here the source environmental directory. See here we are having the function is the false because of it will default product is false because of now I'm working on locally. So that's the reason I'm getting the false defaultly. So this is the environment dot production dot ts. So here production dot ts uh, never
Sirisha, again your voice is
never
breaking.
Neil or Kumar Swami are addable now? Are they just still in checking my
Now it's better, but sometimes it is your voice is breaking.
just give me 1 second because of the here power cut is there, so that's the reason I'm connecting my hotspot. Okay. Uh, now is it okay?
It's okay now.
Yeah. So these are the two environments. One for is our user, and then one for is the client. Client means our local environment. We are working with the local system with the code, right? Whenever we give the build, or either we can go to the live at the time. Just we give the just one of the URL to the client only. So at the time that URL will be working for the production. So at the production time, client only working with that environment. So at the time only here we give the two only. So these are the difference between the different users. So different environments here. So next one is the source.index.html. Uh, again, I'm asking, is it clear now?
Yeah, better now. Continue. Can you share
Yeah.
the screen now again, please? Because we got stuck. I think we got stuck at the images part of your screen.
Yeah. Okay. Is it okay, Anil, now?
Better now.
Yeah, my screen is visible. I'm in
Yes,
source dot
yes,
source index.html.
yes, perfect.
Yes, 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 yes.
Yeah. The base version of your index.html, this is the root file for your application, as it is the only HTML file that is the delivered to the browser. Here, one second. Yeah. Here we are having the after the environments, we are having the index.html. See here, this is the root file for our HTML files. Uh, Here we are having the title is the Angular. My project name is Angular, so that is the reason it will be visible as title for our application. So and then in this body we are having the app. So this is the root file for our HTML file. This one only, whatever in our application, we will write the template or HTML code, that all the code will be executed in the browser throughout this one only. See here, what is this app root? In app component, we are in app directory, we are getting the defaultly one component. For that component in app.component.ts, we are having the selector for this component. So in this selector, I'm having the app root. This is the app component we are getting defaultly. That is the reason this application taking this selector as defaultly and coming to the index.html, it will be placing here. So that is the reason only whatever we are having the app.component.html, that will be directly go to the browser. Give me the 1 second, then after this completion of the structure, I will show how it will works. Then next going to the next thing is source main TS. The main TS file is the entry point of your Angular application. So please be maintain the clearance for this. Last slide is related to the index.html. This is the root file for your HTML file only. This is the root file of your application, only HTML file. But coming to the main.ts, this file is the entry point for your Angular entire application. So all that is in here is the function call to actually bootstrap the application itself. You can specify here which Angular module should be bootstrapped. Normally, this is the app module. See, this is the screenshot, and then I'm explaining in this code only. See here main.ts is there. In this main.ts, this is the entire entry point for application. Here, whenever you need to, we will apply any bootstrap for any components, we need to install that in CLI. Here, this one is the command line interface. So here only we manually install that bootstrap. But for only app module, we will get the bootstrap itself only. So I will see you that how to apply this one. Next thing is the angular.json. So angular.json, this is the main configuration file for the Angular CLI. Inside of here, you can change the almost every default behavior of the CLI. Here we are having the file is angular.json. Angular.json. This is the configuration file for your application. If you configure anything in this application, so all the configurations are maintained by this only. Here we are having the assets, styles, scripts, configuration. Here again they mentioned configuration for the production, and then here replace with this. All the things will be maintained in this one only. So whatever you are having, all the configurations will be maintained in this file. So next one is the package.json. Package.json contain the information about the all dependencies of your application. These files also manage npm or and use install the required dependencies and downloaded the node modules. Here see, angular.json is the configurations file, and then package.json is the dependencies of your application. This file maintains, and then now node modules install and using the npm I. So and also we are using here this thing npm I using for the node modules, and then here also we are using the node, and here and also we are using. So here the packet.json file. Here we see in 13 line we are having the dependencies, animations, commands, compiler, core, forms, all the things will be maintained here. This is the dev dependencies. Dev is nothing but a development. These all are the dependencies for this application. So here angular.json we maintain the configuration files. In package.json we can maintain the maintaining the dependencies here. So now I'm running the application. Run the project. To run the application, type ng sour o. Here I'm giving ng s also, it will be run. But ng sour -o means it will be automatically open at the compilation is done. After that, it will be automatically open in the browser. See here, I'm telling one of the thing is Angular always run in the localhost 4200. In this screenshot, just see here HTTP localhost 4200. Angular automatically and then defaultly provide the one of the local host is the 4200. So now here I am giving the command is ng servo. See what happened here also, it will take the time. So sorry, here this will give the error because of the now in the path of in folder only, right? Angular application is my folder name only, not my application name. What's the project name? Here Angular is the project name, so that's the reason it will showing the serve command requires to be run in the Angular project. So now I'm shifting to the related to my project name. So I'm giving the cd space Angular. It will jumping to that Angular application. So now again I'm giving the command is ng star o. So here it will take the 30 seconds of the time to run the application. Then only it will be automatically open in the browser. So just please wait 30 seconds, 30 seconds to 1 minute time. So then it will automatically open. So these commands, now it will be automatically open in the browser. So at the time of the execution it will be run the code whatever we're having in the all the default components and default things. So see here we will run the application 4200 only. See here this one automatically runs here, right? So I didn't do any coding, I didn't do anything in that components, right? Just I'm creating the application and then run the application. So I'm getting these all the things defaultly because of I'm getting one of the default component in app component. In that component having this much of the code. So that is the reason I'm getting defaultly this thing in the browser. See here, learn Angular, CLI documentation, Angular block. Here I'm clicking on this thing. It will be going to the Angular tutorial because of the that button having the routing process. Okay, here they will apply the routing. So these all the steps come under the app.component.html. See here, just now I'm going to the code. Here checking the app dot, already I said to you whatever you want to display in the sorry, you want to display anything in the browser, just we will write the all code in the in HTML only. One second. sorry guys, here we are having the all the code related to that template. So that is the reason we are getting defaultly in the browser some of the links on the code, all the things. So now I'm deleting all the things in this app component. So just in this code, I'm copying all the thing I'm copying here. Sorry, and then yeah, I'm using only control A. So that's the reason I'm selecting all the thing here. Just I want only this 520 line. That is the router outlet. Just I'm moving to the one of the line above, and then I'm deleting all the thing in this app.component.html. Because of the here I'm deleting all the thing. Just I'm placing only router outlet. Why we are using the outlet? Why I should keeping only this router outlet? Because of router outlet is supports to the routing of the remaining components, and this one will helpful for that, where you should keep the any selectors and then kept in this, it will be helpful for that. So because of this, router outlet is one of the library file, and then this will be very useful to support the routing purpose. See here in this, just I'm taking the one of the h2 tag. As using the h2 tag, just I'm giving the Angular application. I'm saying the h2 tag here. So we now we'll check in the browser. So now only Angular application will be visible only. Remaining all the things will be del here. Because of that, in default app component.html, we are having the default code. So I'm deleted all the things, just I'm placing only h2. So that's the reason here we are getting the only Angular application. Right. This thing is the now this is the application creation and application running the process. Is it clear? Means then we are getting the this the default browser thing, and then hands-on coding. Now I'm moving to the components part, and then up to now we are discussing about that only Angular introduction. What is the Angular, and then how to create, how to open the Visual Studio Code, and how to create the application, and in the application what we are getting, that folder structure, source directories, or environments, assets, Angular JSON files, package.json files, and then what we are getting defaultly, all the things will be discussed on that. So now we are going to the main thing in our application. These the components. Components controls the portion of the view on the browser. So in the browser now we are getting only one line, right? So only I'm getting only ht line. Whenever I'm beautifying the browser with the different things, so the different things will be happening in the components only. Here when I'm creating three components like this, means one is the navigation component, one is the sidebar component, another one is the main content component. These three things are very need to beautify the browser without the things. So that is the reason components control the portion view of the browser. Angular application has at least one component known as root component, right? Because we already defaultly get that root component. So by convention it is called as a app component. So by it convention only we call as a app component, or either we call as a root component. All other users created components are nested under this component, like this. We are having the one within one module, we are having the one of the root component or either app component. In that we are creating the nested components and the number of components. uh, there is no limitation for the creating the components, but whenever we have the number of components within the one module only, whenever at the time we run the application, means it will take the more time to run the browser. Because of the number of components, means it will hang the number of lines code, so the browser that code will be again converted into the TypeScript, then again into converted into the browser. So there is that the on that process, the browser take the much time. So that is the reason only we are segregating these components into related modules. So we
Yeah.
are here I'm creating only a little number of components. So that's the reason I'm created directly components within that app module only. Here I'm not going to creating any module. So within that app module only I'm creating the components here. See here, Angular application contains the one or more module. So now I'm using only one module only here. So each module contains the one or more components and services. Because of the we are having the only components means just we will see the browser beautify only. But whenever we give the functionality for that, we get the data or send the data. At the time, definitely we want to work with the services. So each module contains one or more components. At the same time, we are having the services also. Here the command is for creating the component is ng. Ng is the Angular, and then generate command name. Sorry, here component name. Here the ng c home. Each component contains HTML template view and then logic view. So once we create the one component, then we will explain about this template class or remaining things. I'm going to the application. See here. Uh, Please observe carefully here. Just I'm doing one thing here. Just this is the application running terminal. So I don't want to kill the application. Again, here plus button is there. So new terminal. I'm clicking on the plus button. Here I get the another PowerShell. So here I'm using this thing. Need to created any other things means. So I will use this PowerShell here. Then again I'm shifting to the Angular. Here I'm in Angular application. This is the folder name. Now I'm jumping to my application name, cd Angular. Here I'm creating the components here. So components is code is command. For the creation of the command is ng, g for generate, C for component, and then here I'm creating a home component here. So that is the reason I'm taking the home. Here no need to give the home component. Just give the home, that will be automatically provided. See what happened here now. I'm giving the command and hit the enter button. Then that will be uh, created here under the app directory. See here we are getting the 4 files, right? For that creation of the component. Here I'm giving only home, but it came with the home.component.html, home.component.css, spec.tss, home.component.ts. So we will observe in this one. Here I'm getting only in HTML home works. Now in app.component.html, I am getting something, a large number of code. But here just I am getting only one line of thing. That's the home works. And then CSS is applying the styles for the home component.html. And then home.component.ts means this is the logic file. Here we will hang the selector for this, right? See what happening here. We are whenever you create the component, at the time we are getting the 4 files. Now today in this workshop we will discuss only about these 3 files only. One is the HTML file, is nothing but a template file, and then TS file, this is nothing but a TypeScript file or logic file here. See here, each component contains HTML template, that is the HTML file. View file, already I said there are different names for that HTML file. So and then next one is the class, that's the logic to control the view. By using the TypeScript file we will control this view, control the HTML file. So services contains the business logic for your application. Later on this, we will discussing about these services. So now these are the template, class and metadata. Template, view or HTML user interface. Just user can only interact with the browser. So that's the reason here user interface is a template, and then whatever the user want, that will be displayed in the template file. So then the template will be visible in the browser. And then class code is in TypeScript. In this class we will write anything in the TypeScript code only, TypeScript language. Metadata, information declaration, decorators here. This one of the feature of TypeScript. It provides the information about the class attached to it. Already I said to you the services decorator is the injectable. Like that we are having the decorators here. Component usage, we can represent selector in TS file. See, we here we can see the selector here, app home, right? So for this selector, here app student is there. So at the time I'm creating the student, now I'm creating the component is no home. So that's the reason that will be displaying the app home. See what which things will be happened for that app component. See here, just I'm copying this app home, I'm copying the selector and going to the app.component.html. So after that Angular application, I'm placing the selector. But because of this selector will be placed within the anchor tags, tags only. So I'm saving the application. Then I'm going to the browser. See here, homeworks. Because of the in home component, I'm having only homeworks, right? So that's the reason. Okay, I'm deleting this homeworks. Just I'm giving the another file is a, I'm giving the h4 tag here. So because of I'm taking the h4 tag because in home app.component.html already I'm taking the h4 h2 tag. So I want to showcase the difference between these two. So and then I want to showcase the difference between the components. So same reason I'm taking this is that one is the Angular application, right? Here I'm taking uh, the template file. Here I'm taking the template file, then again I'm saving the one, saving this file, and then here see here template file. So this thing in the home component. This is the app component, this is the home component. If you're creating number of components and then if you place the selector within the app.component.html means this is the app.component.html. This is the root file. Already I said to you for that template files app component is the root file. You can place all the sectors here for the all the components. It will be showing within the one browser only. Here within this browser only we will this is the home component. Same like that if you create number of components and place the selector within the HTML file, all the components will be visible only in one thing, one browser only. This is the creation of the component, and then whenever we creating the component we get the four files. One is the template, another one is for the CSS, and then component.ts file is I'm calling this is the ts file, and then this is the TypeScript file. Okay, I'm calling ts. Okay, in this ts files we will write the logic for that. This is the component creation. Now I'm creating the two more components here because of the because of our next topic is the routing. So we need to give the routing means first we are having the components at the time only we are give the routing is possible. So I'm creating two more components in this. So same command I'm using here nggc. uh, for this I'm using the create here. So if you are giving the more spaces also it won't take, just give the one space, ng after one space, after g one space, after c one space, and then give the command name. Here I'm giving the create component. Here I'm giving the, then it will take again 1 second. It will take the only less time, within 10 seconds only it will creating the component here, within the app only creating the components here. So again I'm creating the one more component here. So ng generate command, command name is, the next thing is edit. See here, I'm taking the three components here, right? So now see here, I'm creating the three components here. Observe here, I'm deleting this third line. I'm deleting this app selector here. So because of I don't want to place anything in this. So now I'm going to explain the routing process. Now I'm applying the routing for these components based on this app.component.html. So routing. Any Angular application is built with multiple components, right? Uh, Only one component is not enough for that any application. So that is the reason we are creating multiple components. So each component has its own way. Every component having the HTML file. So in that every HTML file having different things, right? So that is the reason we are giving the routing for the all the components. Based on the user action, it may necessary to navigate among the views. For this purpose, we use Angular routers. So routing and navigation. Here we are having the, already I said you, localhost 4200 is default for Angular application. So Angular application we are having the localhost 4200. After that we give the path slash student, then it will show the student component, and then slash course it will show the student course list. So here I'm here already for that routing purpose we give the s for that. So for that we are having the app.routing.module.ts. In fourth line we observe const routes we are having the empty array. So within the array we give the paths for that every component. Here we will see what happening means. I mentioned here path. For that path we are mentioned, a path means only it will going to that component, otherwise it will not be going. So here I'm giving the empty strings because of the local uh, localhost 4200 we are having. At the time I'm showcase the what I'm having in the home component. So that is the reason here I'm giving the empty spaces and then comma, which component I want to display at the time of the empty string means home component. Here Visual Studio Code is the one of the best thing because of the it suggests the things whenever you type the sum of the code. So here I'm selecting this one component. Component is I want to showcase the home component. So home component. See here, whenever I'm clicking on the home component, here suggestions is there. Whenever I'm clicking the home component, that home component will be imported automatically. See here, one and two line only there, ng module and route module. So whenever I'm clicking on the home component, the import will be automatically imported from the path. See here, third line, right? Here home component will be imported. So again, same like this. See here, now I'm saving the application. I'm going to the browser, checking on this. So this is the Angular application. I am refreshing whenever only see this one. Just 1 second in note, right, on running only. Here, same as that, I'm giving the remaining paths for the remaining components. Here, empty means I'm showcasing the home component, but I'm giving the word create. Whenever after the slash I'm giving the create means I want to showcase the component is create component. So again I'm selecting here, and then this same as home component, the input will be automatically imported here. See create component. And the same thing here I'm giving the other one is the edit. Here edit means component. edit component. So it will suggest I'm selecting these only. Here three components will be imported here. I'm saving the application here. Here we are creating the three ports for the three components. Here see within the anything he means I want to showcase the home component. Whenever after the slash I'm creating the create means I'm giving the create word, it will showing to the create component. I will showcase in the browser now. Here now only this thing I'm creating the giving the create. See here after it will showing the create works because of the I'm giving the path to routing. See here create works. Is it working fine, right? Okay, again I'm giving to the edit this create and again I'm giving the edit. So whenever I'm clicking hit the enter button, then it will show the edit works. So it will showing to the edit component. This is the routing. Whenever we give the correct path to showcase which component you need to showcase for that word. So at the same time, we need to give the word and the component simultaneously. So this is the syntax for the creating the paths. One, you can give the path. Here creating the path, empty space, then it works the home component. When I'm giving the create, it will showcase the create component. So first one is the path. In that path, you can mention your word, and then next thing is component. You can mention the which component you need to open that based on the word. So these are the creation of the path, and then this is the routing. This is the routing. Here see here generate here student in list components. Here the components is different, but I'm having the home component, create component and edit component. Configure routes, here only path. I'm moving the one view to another view based on the path. But here, add buttons and use directives to navigate. Here, I'm using the router links. Based on the router links also, we will change the one HTML view to another HTML view. Okay, I will show that one also. Here, optional route parameters. First, we will showcase this router link. So in this code, just I'm creating for this. I'm going to the create component and opening the HTML files. Here I'm deleting this thing, create works. Here I'm taking the, sorry, just I'm doing the control Z here. In home.component.html, I'm taking the template file, right? So I'm deleting this thing, just taking the anchor tag here. So a tag, I'm giving the word as create. So now checking in the browser. So I'm going to back here, just I'm deleting this thing. Just only I'm executing localhost 4200. Now it create. So I'm doing this one is the router link. Here the syntax is there. For this router link, we give the square brackets. This is the syntax. We need to follow same as it is. Without the proper syntax, that will be not working. So with proper syntax only we will use. I'm giving the for this router link. See here, I'm giving the word as the create. So whenever we click on the local host, we give the after slash create. So in this router link only, I'm giving the slash create. So I'm saving the this thing in this file. So again, I'm going to the browser. Now see here, before giving the router link, it will be only word. Now I'm giving the router link to that a tag. So that is the reason it will be router link and then it will be hyperlink here. Whenever I'm clicking on the create button, it will going to the create automatically. See here, I'm going back again. See here, in this path, I'm having only localhost 4200. Whenever I'm clicking on the create, it will moving to the path. See here, this one showing the create works, and then here also we get the create. Like this, here the router links will be working fine here. And then next one is the optional route parameters. So course list component. Here I am having the course list is the Angular, React, Vue, Node, MongoDB, and then Bootstrap, Express.js. So I'm having so many number of course list. So I want to click on that any course, it will be showing to the details of the course details component. So I'm having the Angular course details component, React course details component. Whenever I'm clicking on the Angular means it will opening the details component. So this is the optional route parameters based on the ID. So here we are passing the ID. Here Angular having the one, React having the two, like that only everyone, every course having the one unique ID. Based on that ID only, it will opening the related component details. Sorry, course details with the component. So this is the routing works as with the path and then router links. Both will be working fine. And then next thing is the forms. One second. Anil, shall we continue or either give the break to them? Yes, and come back and then shall we start now? I'm sharing my screen. Now we're going to discussing about the forms. Forms, guys, I'm audible, right?
Yes, Sirisha, you're audible.
Yeah, thank you. Forms are very important for any business application. Forms are used to create an experience that guides the user efficiently and effectively through the workflow. Imagine that whenever we're going to work on anything, if you apply the any college or if you log into the Google or either submit any social media things or either if you want to register for something, either any MSET, LASET, whatever it may be, all the things having the forms. So without the forms, the user need to interact with the some other persons. If you have having the forms, mean in that forms, that forms only they guide the user. Which field what the fields we are required, which fields are very useful. So like that, forms are used to create an experience that guides the user. So here, that's the way only effectively through the workflow here. So as a developer, uh, we have to do data binding, change tracking, validations, visual feedback, display error messages, form submission, all the things done in forms only. So don't worry about this, what these things, what is the words, we don't know about these words. Here data binding means we are having the form, right? So in that form, we need to fill the data. So whenever we're going to click on that form anywhere, so if you're having the, for example, our Aadhaar, whenever we click on the, give the Aadhaar number and hit the enter means it will showing our details. So within details only we are get the form. So that is that one called as a data binding. So from the back end to we will get the data, okay, and then change tracking. So in having the e-commerce application, having the change tracker is there. So that form also we have to do that in Angular only. So not only in Angular, whatever we are having the web application, web frameworks, we do that thing. And then the validation. In that form, for example, we are using any login forms means we give the username is required, right? So same as this password is required. So that is the one of the simple validation. I'm not going to the depth. Just I'm giving the just brief introduction about the validation. So first name is required. Min length is 3 characters required. So there is a validations and then visual feedback. Whenever you submit the form, whatever it may be, login form or register form or either any application, whenever you click on the submit button, it will showing your form is successfully executed or either your form is submitted successfully. So that feedback will be give the visual feedback. display error messages. Same whenever click on the submit, that proper submit is not done, or the time it will showing the error message. Whenever you click on the any unauthorized websites means it will showing the 404 web page is not found. Like that here also we are showing the some display error messages. And then form submission, it will give the form submission is done. So these are the done based on the forms only. So next one here, already I tell you about that template class. Template is nothing but a HTML file, and then class is nothing but a TS file. Template HTML is used to collect the data from the user. User is nothing but only us. We are giving the data to the template file. We are only write the forms code in the HTML file. So that template file will going to the logic. In class, we make the data binding. So in that template TS file, we are having to we are having the logic in that file. So after that class, we are going to move the data to the server through the service here. Already I said to you about this service. Service is nothing but a mediator. Based on this service, we collect the data, sent to the server using the service. And then server collect the data will be stored in the server. Whatever now we are giving the one student details and I want to store the details into the database. So at that time I'm using this service because of without the service we can't able to directly store the server is not possible. So that is the reason here we are using the services here. Based on this service we use the service to store the data into the server. So this slide is completely telling the process of the HTML to TypeScript file to service, service to the server. Okay. Next thing is the in that forms, Angular having the two approaches here to selecting the forms. Here, template driven forms, most of the code written in HTML file, and then reactive forms. Reactive forms is also called as a modal driven forms. Okay, most of the code written in the component class. Here we will explain in depth here. So template driven forms are the forms which are will be there will be logic, validation, controls, and all the things done in HTML only. So most of the code will be written in HTML means whenever we hang the number of 1,000 lines of code at that time, we are having the little bit confusing. So here that is the cause is there in template driven forms. Next thing is the template driven forms is only responsible for setting up the form, the validation control groups. Template-driven forms are suitable simple scenarios, uses two-way data binding. Here the syntax for the two-way data binding is uh, within square brackets, within parentheses, we can write the word for that. This is the syntax for the two-way data binding. Later on, we will discuss about these data bindings. But in template-driven forms, unit testing might be a challenge. And then here it is the complex for that unit test in template driven forms. But this to use the template driven forms, we need to explicitly import the forms module from the Angular modules. Already I said you if the dependency is there, we need to import the things in our imports array. So ng model, we need the ng model in the form input and the input must be named. See here, I'm giving the example text here, input type equal to text here. If you're not giving the type equal to text, uh, 1 second. Here we are giving the type equal to text because I'm mentioning the type equal to text. Because of the for this field, I'm giving the text only. Whenever you give the type equal to number means that will be taking only the numbers. That will be taking the only number. So that is the reason I'm mentioning the text here. So ng model and then name is equal to first name. For the template driven form syntax is we need to maintain the ng model and name should be mentioned in the input field. So that will be we are knowing that that one is the template driven forms. So binding the data from the ng form. So first step to working with the Angular forms is to import the forms module. I already said in the last slide. First, we need to import the forms module. Then after that, we need to import that in imports array. So this is the reactive forms, and then code and logic resides in a component class. Here in HTML, we are only taking the fields and then input values only. After that, we are having whatever we are having the logic, all the logic will be reside in the component class. That is the TS file. Here, no two-way data binding here. And as name suggests, we are going to react based on user input values. And then reactive forms are very useful and very fast. Reactive forms are well suited for the complex scenarios. Whenever you hang the number of lines code and then it can be executed very fastly, and then it can helpful for the Angular application performance also. And then it is the more flexible to the application. Here, dynamic form fields by providing an optioning, adding another phone number whenever you are having that more number of phone numbers, or that dynamically it provides the form fields. Custom validations. Here, in normal validations, we are checking only for the form is field is required, and then the username is required more than 4 letters, and then the password should be in the same using the uppercase letters, special characters like that. But the custom validation means the password and confirm password should be the same. So that is the custom validation that will be done in reactive forms only. Validation. Email is mandatory. So in YouTube also you should email is a mandatory at the time of the login. So like that, otherwise email field is not optional. So that all the things, dynamic validations, custom validations, all the things will be done in reactive forms only. So that is the reason whenever you having the very important application or either the complex scenarios, we will use the reactive forms only. So here unit test case also very easy to do that. So for this reactive application, just I'm doing the one of the application in our application. So that's the very easy. I'm showing how to create the Angular reactive forms. First, we need to import the forms. Where we should import the things app.module.ts. Here in this routing app routing.module.ts, I'm giving the comma for this and then enter. Here I'm importing the forms module. See, in suggestions only, I'm taking the things because of the if I'm write dynamically, again, I want to import the thing manually. So that is the reason I'm selecting in suggestions only forms module. I'm selecting the thing, and then in ninth line, it will be automatically imported here. So these the forms for the forms module. I'm using the forms. So that is the reason I'm importing this thing in the imports array and import. But now I'm working on the reactive forms. So that is the reason here again I'm importing this reactive forms module. So in this suggestion is not there. So that is the reason I'm writing complete word here. So reactive forms module. So error will be there. I'm clicking. I'm I'm choosing the quick fix. In that quick fix, it's showing to the update import from the Angular forms. Here it will be imported from the Angular forms. These Angular forms will be came from the node modules. Okay, all the things will be installed on the node modules. These all the pods. So this the import is done, and then dependency is done for the uh, forms. Now I'm going to create the one of the reactive form. So I'm saving this file. So creating component is there. Here in home component, just I'm clicking on the router link means it will create and open the create component, right? So in this create component, I'm creating a one of the reactive form is there. So I'm deleting this thing. I'm creating one form. That's the reactive form. So here I'm using only simple things, simple form only. So in this form, I'm taking the one div here. So one div here means this is the showing to the one field at a time. So here I'm taking the in this div, I'm taking the one label for this. In this label, I'm taking the name and field is name. For this label, I'm taking the one of the input field for that, and then input field I'm mentioning type equal to text because of the name is text, not a number, right? So that is the reason here I'm taking the type equal to text, and then I'm giving one more thing is form control name. Here I'm giving the form control name. Form control name equal to I'm giving the name here. For this form control name, why we are giving the form control name for this input? Based on the form control name, we will control the input field of the name. Whatever you do in that field, we will control based on this form control name. And then I am taking the same div. Again, I'm taking the another div. And then in this div, again, I'm taking the one more label. One more label. In this label, I'm taking the course. So for this also, I'm taking the input field, and then same as this in this input field also, I mentioned type equal to name, type equal to text. And then here also I'm taking the form control name. So form control name is used to control the field for this. So here my form is ready. So I'm saving this. And then for this name and course is there. I want to submit the data, right? So again, I want to take one button for this. So here I'm using only simple HTML tags only. Okay. Here for this, I'm giving the name as submit button for this. So I'm using the reactive forms, right? So that is the reason I'm mentioning one name for this form. So for this form, I'm taking the name for this form. Here in this form only, I will take the name for this. In this form component, at first line only, I'm entering the data here. So here I'm taking the one form group. So I'm not taking to the one little bit to one little bit to the form. So that's the reason I'm grouping this complete form. I'm grouping these two fields in this one group. So for this group, I'm taking the name is the student form. So I'm taking the student form. So and then I want to submit this form, right? Here in this button, I'm giving the type equal to submit. So here also we need to mention submit is no button, reset, whatever you want to select for this. But here I want to submit the data. So that is the reason I'm selecting the type equal to submit here. And then here I want to submit, right? So for this, for the form, give the ng submit. Why you should kept in the within parentheses means this is the syntax for this. For the form group, we will take within the square brackets with the variable name, and then here form group is the taking these or in the one group, and then ng submit is to submit the data. So I want to submit which thing? So I want to submit a form. So that's the reason I am keeping the words for your understanding is the submit form. So I want to submit the form. So that's the reason in the ng submit, I will take the method as ng submit. So now I'm saving this one. And then for this div, I'm giving the class equal to form group. So I'm taking these two labels into the form group. Same as this for the second div also, I am taking to give the class is equal to form group. So don't confusion, these are the class names. So for that, these two are in form group only. Now, whenever my form is ready, at the same time here, I am giving the two things here. One is the form group and then submit form method. These two must and should be declared in the component.ts file. Otherwise, we will get the error in the browser. So once we will check before enter the in ts file. So where is the browser? This one is the browser. See here, we are having the error because of the student form and then submit. Both are the not in logic file. So that is the reason here we are having the error. Now these two things I will be declared in the student one. Oh, sorry, component.ts file. Here the method is uh, sorry, submit form. So this is the method. For this logic, we will write the within parentheses. That is the reason. Here I'm taking the flower braces here, and then one is the student form. So that is the variable. So that is the reason that all the variables should be declared before the constructor here. So here I'm taking the student form is equal to sorry student form as form group. The form group here we are having the error. Why we are getting the error means see click on the, place the cursor on the form group. It will showing quick fix. Right? Already I said this one. Add import from the Angular group form group. Here imported the form group here. So these are the dependencies. See here up starting of the application only I am setting we are having some dependencies. Okay, these are the dependencies. Another one of the main thing is the dependency injection. Dependency injection means here within the constructor having the parentheses, right? In that parentheses, we need to now I want to build the form. So I am having the form now. Now I want to build the form. So that is the reason I am taking the one of the private variable here. So private, public, protected, these three are the access specifiers. All of the members know about this thing. And then in private also have word also having the meaning. So I want to keep in private. So that's the reason I'm taking the private variable here. So and then FB. FB is the instant, not on Facebook. It's a form builder. So FB is the instant. And then I'm taking that form builder here. So why we are using the form builder means in reactive forms, we are using the form builder to maintain the form group. Okay. Within the form group, we are having the number of fields. Okay. See here also in form builder form group, both are in the forms. So that is the reason I am using the form builder here. So here and then now within the constructor only, I am taking this dot student form. Why we are using the this means within the constructor. See here, within these two parents, within two curly braces, we don't have the student form. So above only we are having the student form. So within the component dot ts, we are having the student form. So not within the curly braces. So I'm using this to accessing the student form. So student form, this dot student form equal to this dot form builder. I'm using the FB is the instant for the form builder. So on that group, I'm grouping the things. Group is a method. Within that, I'm grouping the names, fields. I'm having the only two fields, right? So whenever I'm clicking on the form, I want the empty form. So that is the reason within the square brackets, I'm taking the empty strings. So if you want within the form, whenever you click on the create button, the form will be showing only empty. So that's the reason here I'm taking the empty. Now I'm saving the thing here. See what happening in the browser now. So I'm saving the thing. Uh, okay. Here hang the some spelling mistake here. That is the label. So if you did any spelling mistakes, means the browser will be showing the error. So here I'm having the form. See here, this is our application. Whenever I'm clicking on the create, it will showing the form, right? So name and course. Here I'm giving the empty here. So that is the reason I'm having the empty. Here I'm giving the 1 to defaultly. I'm saving the application again. Now I'm checking the application. Whenever you're going to create, click on the create, it will showing the 12. Why it's showing? Because of I'm giving the default values here. So I don't want any default values. So that is the reason I'm giving the empty here. So is it clear now? So this is the reactive form. And then this is the reactive forms, right? So now in the submit form method, I didn't write any logic because of the now I want to submit this thing means where should I store the data? So that thing is there. So after these reactive forms, so here the bootstrap is there. So just uh, app component app module only we get the itself bootstrap. So if you want to install anything to that any other components, we need to install the bootstrap manually. So that is the reason I'm using the bootstrap. Bootstrap is nothing but the applying the styles for that. So just I'm giving this two commands only for this. This is the npm install bootstrap, and then after that see first we need to install the bootstrap for this because of the our forms and then tables, whatever we do the other things in our application, first we need to install the bootstrap for this. So that is the reason I'm typing the command for the bootstrap here, npm install bootstrap, save there. So I'm clicking on this, the bootstrap will be installed. How we will check if the bootstrap is installed or not? If you have the uh, query, just go to the package.json. So after that, in the command, here check bootstrap is there or not. In 22nd line, I'm having the bootstrap and then with the latest version. So already I said you package.json is the dependent, all having the dependencies. So if you are using the bootstrap, then it will be automatically stored in the dependencies. So same for that in styles.scss. This is the defaultly we apply the all the bootstrap to the all the overall application. So that is the reason here we are importing thing. Just I'm taking the already said you with the node modules only. If you installed any third party libraries, bootstrap is installed manually, right? So that is the reason that one related to the third party. All third party things will be stored in that node module. So I'm selecting the node modules here. Within that node modules, I'm selecting the bootstrap here. So again, within the dist file only I'm having. So CSS here, bootstrap min.css. So here I am so many things. So that is the reason I'm selecting this thing. Yeah, this is the process completed related to the bootstrap. This is related to the bootstrap. So bootstrap is completed now. So now I'm going to the browser. So here I'm entering the data, name and codes. I'm enter the data these two, name and codes. I want to store the data. Where should I want to store the data? Up to now, we will clear about that Angular creation and then components, routing forms. We don't have the any database, right? So up to now, we don't have the any API, any proper backend. We don't have anything. But without all the things, I want to store the data and then I want to showcase the number of records in my application. So what should I do? So at that time, I'm introducing the one of the main thing is the JSON server. So this is the main thing whenever we don't have the proper backend, we don't have the any proper database to store our data. At that time, we are using the JSON server. JSON server is a npm package that allows you to create the REST JSON web service backed by a simple database. And then here, JSON is plays the dual role. One is backend, other one is a database. It is created for front-end developers and help to perform all CRUD operations without a proper prototype, backend prototype and structure. Here, see here, if you do the any create means just give the data into the form that submit. It will not store it anywhere. So you should store the data. So if you edit the data means you need to show the data first. So server in our application. So why we are using the JSON server? Anything is there replacing to the JSON server. So nothing is there. If you use the proper backend, then you can remove the JSON server. If you don't have the any backend, if you don't have the any database, so you must and should be use the JSON server. So a common use of the JSON server is to exchange the data. Exchange data to or from a web server. So if we are having the server means we need to send the data to the web server and then get the data to the server. Whenever you're creating the form, you're creating one of the record, then at that time you need to store the data into the server. You want to edit the data means first you need to get the data. Then only you will edit the data, right? At the creation of time, you will create the data stored in the server. Whenever you want to edit the data, so first you need the data, right? So if you edit or anything, just whenever you hang the data only, on the time only you will edit the data or delete the data. So that will be exchanging data to or from yes web server. We need JSON server here. When receiving the data from the web server, that is always in a string. Here also, whenever using any if else cases or a switch cases, whatever you want, anything, at that time we used to follow the rules. Here also, JSON having the one of the format, we need to give in that JSON format only. Then only the server accept the data. So here without proper backend. If you have the proper backend means we will get the REST APIs. What is the REST APIs? A REST APIs is also known as the RESTful APIs is an application programming interface. Here also they called different names. API, Web API, both are same here. That conforms to the constraints of REST architectural style and allows for interaction with the RESTful web services. REST stands for Representational State Transfer that was created by the computer scientist Fielding. Here the API is nothing but a integration between the front end and back end. Whenever you do submit the form, that will be stored in the back end. Whenever you do the operations, that all the things will be modified in backend also. So what is the JSON REST API? So JSON is based on subset of JavaScript programming language, representative state transfer, and then it is a client server architectural style that uses the HTTP protocol. See here, this is the main thing here, HTTP protocol in a simple and effective way. Systems that adhere to REST practices are often referred to as RESTful interfaces. See here, client is there, server is there. If you want to send the data to the server, just keep the JSON request. If you get the response by using the JSON response here. Here, uh, first we need to send the data and send the request, then only we will get the response. So what is the JSON server? Now we know about the JSON server is the plays the dual role. One is the backend, and the one is the database. Now we will check it works properly or not with practically. Now here the to set up the JSON server, run the following command. This command will useful for the installing the Angular JSON server in our Angular application. So now I'm going to installing that JSON server, and then now I'm going to the application. Here in terminal, I'm placing the cursor. Now I want to run the JSON server. So I'm typing the command is npm install -g space JSON server save. So I'm going to hit the enter button. The JSON server will be installed in our application. So now I'm installed the application JSON server. So it will take the time 30 to 1 minute, 30 seconds to 1 minute. After the installation completion, we will run the JSON server. Now the application is installed successfully. Then I will run the JSON server in our application. See which command is useful for that run the application. Here, step 2, create db.json file with some data. Right. Here, this is the command for JSON server watch. And then db.json, this is the file. Whenever we run the JSON server, we need to give the file name along with the command. So, executive command with the db.json file means that will be created the db.json file. Okay. Here, I'm run the command. Here I'm giving the command for this JSON server watch db.json. So this command is clear now, right? So now I'm hitting the enter. Before the hitting the enter, see here in our application, I don't have any db.json files here. So see here, text browser editor git ignore angular karma.package. So here I don't have the any db.json file. Whenever I'm executing the JSON server along with the file, then it will be, yeah, see here, after the angular.json, I'm getting the one of the file is angular db.json. So this will be executed here. So coming to this, our Angular application is always run defaultly in the 4200, right? So at the same thing, here also this runs a local server, localhost 300 and watches the db.json file for any changes. So here we will check about this JSON server. So it will be provided in 300, right? Here, see, I'm dragging this. It will be helpful to see the local host. See here, this will be, I'm copying this URL, going to the browser. So here, this is my Angular localhost 4200, right? So I'm clicking on the next new tab. On the tab, I'm giving this URL, clicking on this. This will be run the JSON server localhost in 3000. See here, observe. Here we are getting the post, comments, and profile. So whenever I'm clicking on the posts, it will showing to the one record for the post. I'm going back and click on the comments means in that comments also I'm having the one record, and then going to the profile. Here also all the things hang the one of the record in the resources. To access and modify the resources, you can use the HTTP method. Already I said you HTTP is the one of the important thing to fetch the data from the server. Fetching is nothing, it is not a new word. It's a technical word. Fetching means get the data from the server. You will pick the data from the server using this HTTP method. Okay. If you get the data, or either you send the data using only HTTP. And then here we are having the some technical words for this for CRUD application. Here get means you get the data. You will receive the data from the server. And then post. Whenever you create a data or uh, add the data. Create or add. Both the words will be in technically called as a post call. Post call means uh, if imagine I'm having the 6 records in my table, 6 records. Whenever I'm going to add the seventh record to my table, at that time I'm using the post method, not any add create method. Here I'm using to post. And then if I will add the seventh record by mistake, I adding some different name. I want to edit the data. So at that time, I am using the put method, not any update method. Here, put is the technical word for the update. And then the last thing is the delete. Delete is directly we know about that. If you want to delete any record, so you can delete that file. See here, post and put only is some little bit different word is there for adding and then updating. So these operations will be done by using the HTTP method in JSON server. So in JSON server, I'm having these three resources. See what will be there in our application. So in our application, we are having the one db.json file, right? See here, I'm opening this file here. See, here I'm having the three things here. One is the post, comments, and profile. So if I do anything here, that will be automatically modified in JSON server. So now I don't want these things, just I want to store only records, right? So first thing, I'm deleting this thing, remaining things. Just this is the format for the JSON server. If you give within this format only, it will be storing the data. Without this format, it can't accept. This is hang the string formation. So in this post, I'm renaming this post with the courses. I'm giving the courses here. just within the data, I'm having only name and course, right? So in my form, having only two fields. One is the name field, another one is the course field. So here I'm using only ID name course. I'm not having the ID field because of ID will be created dynamically. So I'm saving this db.json file. So name is JSON server. So for the reference only, I'm putting this thing only. Later on this, I will change this thing. So now I'm ID equal to 1, name equal to JSON server, course type equal to TP code, and then I'm saving this file. Now I'm having only one record and then one field in one resource in the db.json file. Now I'm going to check with this. I'm refreshing this URL. Here see in resources, just I'm having only courses. Whenever I'm clicking on the courses means it will be showing only the one record here. So this record will be there in the JSON server. So here JSON server is clear, right? Right now our JSON server is completed. Why we are using the JSON server means we are using the JSON server for the backend purpose and database purpose. So for the backend, we are get the URLs. Now this is the URL for this, and then same database for the storing the database. Here records will be storing here. So that is the purpose we are introducing the JSON server. It is very helpful to our front end developers. Okay. So now I want to submit this data and storing into the server. So how I would store this data into this server, right? Already, if some members maybe having remembering that point, if we are having the code in template file and logic file, and then we need to store the data into server, we are using the services. Okay. So for that services, now I'm going to the, so just I'm giving you the explanation about the JSON server up to now. How to install, how to run, along with the file name, how to uh, give the records directly. So just I'm having only one record. I want to uh, take the this record into in my table. So okay. So before that, uh, in I want to store the record into the table. For that purpose, just I'm going to the application and then in home component. Where is the home component? Just one second. Here in home component, just I'm having only the router link, right? So we can go the browser again. So here I want to store the data in one table. So first of all, I'm creating the one table in our code. Here I'm taking the one table. Here also I'm taking only simple things. I'm taking the one table. In the table, uh, we are having the rows and columns in table, right? So here I'm taking the table row. TR is table row. In the table row, first line I'm giving the headings. Table headings. So in the table, I want to store the ID. So and then next table, sorry, table heading is name. And then another table heading is course. Just I'm taking only these things only, right? Okay. So in this table, I want to get the data. So see here in what happening in the browser now. So here ID name course, but it is not clear. It will clumsy. So that is the reason just I'm giving the class name for this table. So remember in your mind, I'm manually enter the install the bootstrap. So that's the reason just I'm give the bootstrap class here. Class is equal to table. I'm not giving any much more complexity words. Here I'm taking the class is equal to table. See here in the browser. ID, name, create, course. Whenever I'm clicking the create, form will be open, give the data, submit the data means it will show into in the table. But before that, I want to fetch the data here in JSON server having the one record. First, I want to uh, showcase that record in my table. So that is a reason here I'm going to next step is the service. So now I'm having the server. I'm having the table. In that server having the data. I want to showcase that data into my table. So I'm using the mediator. What is the mediator here? Service. So an Angular service is simply a TypeScript class that encapsulates the various methods for completing a certain task in your app, such as getting and sending data from to a server. So why do we use the service? They contain the methods. So simply here, services contains the methods that methods maintain the data throughout the life of an application. That is, data does not get refreshed and is available all the time. Is the service having the method? In that method that contains the data throughout the application. The main objective of the service is to organize and share business logics, models, or data and functions with different components of an Angular application. So here, create the service, we are having the command. So we are having the command for everything, right? For the creation of the components or either creation of the service, all the things we are having the service. So here first I'm creating the service in my application. So here in this second thing, I'm installing the JSON server. So again, I'm clicking on the plus button here. So here I'm changing the Angular. Here I'm giving the command ng generate s. Before I'm using the C for the command. Now I'm using the service. So that is the reason here I'm taking the S. So I want the data service. So I'm giving the data here. Whenever I'm clicking on the data, it will creating the one of the service in our application. See, it will be appearing here within the section. See here, after the node modules, uh, it will be creating the data service and spec.ts. This data.service.spec.ts we are not using now because of this is related to unit test case. Now I'm using only this data.service. Here, observe this injectable decorator. Whenever the service is created, that injectable decorator will be installed automatically. So see, after the creation of service, what we will do for the fetching the data from the server. So here, HTTP client module, we need to import the client module in app.module.ts. So we are using the now HTTP mechanism. So server is there and then server will there and then service to server, we need to give the path to fetch the data. So that will be possible only through the HTTP. So now we will import the file in app.module.ts. So in app.module.ts, after reactive forms, I'm keeping the comma and then I'm importing the HTTP client module. So here not choosing that thing. So that's the reason I'm typing the complete thing. HTTP client module. So it here also not suggesting for the quick fix. So that is the reason I'm importing directly manually. Here import HTTP client module from Angular common is there and then I'm giving the HTTP for this. So the error will be resolved for this thing. If the Visual Studio Code is not suggested, you need to enter manually. So here HTTP client module I'm getting from the Angular common HTTP. So here I'm importing. My importing was done for that HTTP client module in app.module.ts. So next thing is HTTP mechanism. See here, if you are having the here I'm having the student list and student details component for the both requesting to the student details server. So imagine here I'm taking the data service and then get HTTP request to the database. So here database nothing but a JSON server. So HTTP is the main mechanism to send the request or get the request through the HTTP only. This is the HTTP mechanism for getting the things. Here source is there, and then here we can use the subscribe methods. Subscribe methods is related to the RxJS part. This is the React extension JavaScript files. So we do not discussing about this in depth. Just I'm telling this subscribe word will get from the RxJS. RxJS is reactive extension JavaScript language. So this one we will took up that RxJS, and then what happening for the subscribe? Same thing. Whenever you subscribe any YouTube channel, if they are provide any new video at the same time, you will get the notification. So like here also, whenever you subscribe any method, at that time, whenever any changes will be done in that method, you will get the same updated response. So that is the reason here we are using the subscribe here. So here how to fetch the data. Follow the steps. HTTP get request from the student service. Here I'm using the data service. So HTTP get receive the observable and cached into the student array. Subscribe to the observable from the student list and student details. Assign the student array to the variable. See here also we give the note for this RxJS reactive extension for the JavaScript is an external library used in Angular to work with the observable. Here, first thing is just I'm importing the his HTTP in these services. So now this is done in app module, right? So I'm going to the service. Now in here I'm importing the HTTP. Uh, HTTP client. Here it will be it's not using, so that's the reason just it will showing in the not visible. It is in invisible. Whenever we are using that, it will be visible only. Here dependency injection is the one of the main concept. Dependency injection. Now I'm using the what is the dependency means. So here what is the dependency? It is a one of the object oriented programming software design. Dependency injection is the process of supplying resource. Here within the words only we are having the meaning for that. Here the process of supplying the resources that given a piece of code requires. The required resource, which is often a component of the application itself, is called a dependency. We are now up to now we see the dependency when we are using the forms. At the same time, we need to import the forms module in the app module. So that is the one of the dependency. Whenever you're creating the path that automatically imported the things, that also is the dependency. So same thing here. Whenever we are using the service, that in dependency injection will be useful to take these methods to our components. See, I'm explaining lively. Just carefully observe all the things here. Now, here in constructor, I'm creating the one of the private variable, that is the HTTP mechanism. Here I'm taking the instance is HTTP. For that instance, what is that one thing means HTTP client. So here I'm taking the one of the private variable HTTP for that HTTP client module. In that uh, thing, we are using a method to fetch the data. So how to fetch the data means here not within the constructor. After the construction, just I'm using the one method that is the course list. Get course list. I hang the server hang the one record. So I want to fetch the record into my table. So that is the reason I'm taking the method as so already said you in server we are having the methods. So I'm creating one method is course list. In that method, I will write the logic. Here, just it will be written something. So here again I'm using the this because of the within this method I didn't that HTTP. So this dot in Visual Studio Code it will suggest that what the next thing. Here I'm choosing the HTTP. Then how to get the data? What is the technical word for that means? Here get is there. So I want to get the data. So where should we get the data? So from the JSON server. So from the JSON server means we need to go to the browser. Is it browser here? We are having the URL here. Just I'm copying this thing and pasted in the method. So here within this quotation, we need to place it this URL. So within the quotation here done in data service file, just I'm write the one method for this and then I'm taking, I want to return the data from the URL. So that's the reason I'm taking the keyword as return and then where should I return the data? That is the reason I'm taking the this dot http dot get method. I'm getting the data from this URL. So this is done here in the JSON data service file. So where should I use the data? In home.component.ts HTML only I have the table. So within this table, I want to store the data. So I already said you in reactive forms in template driven forms, whatever it may be, the logic must and should be written in home.component.ts. So now I'm calling that method whatever we are having in the data service file. So data service file having the method, uh, how I would use that method in home.component.ts. So I want to inject that component into in this component. So that is the dependency. So how we should use that component means here I'm creating the one of the variable private. I'm giving the ds is the instance. Ds is nothing but data service. Here I'm selecting the data service. Here automatically imported in the second line. See here import data service from here the data services. Right here I'm injecting this one. So now I'm using that method in my form.component.ts. See here now I'm using that thing in my home component. See here, after ng on it, I'm calling the method. So before the calling method, here also I want to create another method because of here also we need create one method to calling that method. There I'm calling the method as get course list, right? So here I'm calling the method is get courses. So get courses method, I'm writing the logic for that. Before that, I want to store the data into one variable, right? So here I'm getting the data from the URL. So I'm not to directly take the table, the data. So before that, here I'm taking the one of the empty array. Within that empty array, first I want to store the data. So here also I'm taking the variable is courses. So here I'm taking the one empty array. Okay, here I'm taking the one empty array. Within this get courses method, I'm writing this dot. Here in this, I'm using the data service method, right? So I'm selecting the instance of the DS. After that dot. Here suggesting the method. So because of the in data service, we are having only one method. So that is the reason it will suggest only one method. I'm directly selecting this. It will showing the method. So that will be in yellow color. So here Visual Studio Code suggests uh, these things are in yellow colors are the things. So after that, I want to subscribe that method because of whenever the data is updated in the JSON server, the response will be I'm getting the response is updated data. So that's the reason here I'm subscribing the data. So after the subscribe, I'm getting the response here. So response. So here for this response, I'm giving the data type is any. So because of I don't know which data it will be containing. So if I know the data means, then I will give the response equal to number. Response data type is string. If I know means I will keep the data. If without no means without we don't put the data type. So that's the reason I'm taking the any. Here I'm using the arrow function for this because of here we are getting the any response means I want to store this response into this courses array. So this dot courses I'm storing this response here. So response. Now the response will be stored in this array. Okay. So in this array I'm get the data. So if you want means I will check, I will see you, I'm getting the data or not. I will check in console only. So because of now in the array only, I'm having the data. Up to now, I don't fetch the data into the table. So here for your reference only, I'm showing in console for what getting in the response, what I'm getting in the response. So this is the console, right? So I'm tell the word is log. In log only I'm showing, right? So I'm saving that is data. I'm going to the application. So this is my application. So if you are not getting the hitting the method, it will not come down, I think. So because of we are not getting, because of we are not hitting that one, right? So this is not give that. So I'm going to the code. So up to now, I'm getting the data, this courses. Now I want to, in this data, in this array, I'm having the data. So for this home.component.html, I'm the only things. I need to bind the data. Now in logic file, I'm having the data. I want to showcase the data into the template. So what should we do? So for this, we are going to the data bindings here. So in the data binding, one of the main thing and easiest thing and important thing is the interpolation. So by using the double curly braces, we can use the property value of its corresponding class. Class is nothing but a TS file. So string interpolation is a one-way data binding technique which is used to output the data from TypeScript code. So now I'm having the data in TypeScript. So I want to showcase into the HTML file. So that is the reason here I will use this interpolation in my table. So the syntax of the binding field use double curly braces called the binding expression. So simply interpolation is always binding the data from class to template, TS file to HTML. So here we are having the different types of binding. First, I'm doing the interpolation for my application. Then after that, I will explain you things. So For the first row only, I'm having the headings. So next row, I'm bind the data. So in this row, next one is the table definition. So in this, I'm using the curly braces. So I'm doing the ID. So next one is the table definition. In the table definition, again I'm bind the data. Next thing is the name. PD. Next interpolation for course. See here, just if the if the JSON server having the 10 records, so it will be looping the 10 times. That means first one will be there, next one two, next one two three, like that. So now I don't want that much of the complexity. So I want to iterate the loop here. So for the looping purpose, we are having the directives here. So here for that, see in this here I'm telling about the bindings. Then I will go to the structural directive. Okay. For that event binding, we are having the beyond class. Here having the view means template. Template to class means it will give the event binding. Class. Now we are using the property binding, right? So because of in class we are having the data. So we need to give the class to view. So that is the reason we are using the property binding now. So these are the differentiations. Method definition, interpolation, property binding, and event binding. These should be indicating this should be method definition or interpolation, property binding. Like this, we are using the things for that. And then two-way binding, event binding with the mentioned with the parentheses, and then property binding should be in the square braces. And then here completing the two-way data binding, we will mix with the both property binding and event binding here. So now we are using only the interpolation, that is the one-way binding. So don't confusing with the two-way binding and one-way binding. Just now we are using only one-way binding only. So now we are having the structural directives. Here why we are using the structural directives, just why we are giving the binding to directives. So here now we are binding the data, but directly binding the data means we will get the number of record means it will showing to the complexity. So that is the reason here we are using the directives. Directives are used to change the behavior of the elements. So here we are using the three types of things here. So that is the structural directives, attribute directives, component directives. Uh, Here I'm giving the brief introduction about to the these two attribute directives and component directives. Attribute directives are ng style, ng class. Within the name only we are having ng style means it will change the it will apply the styles for that. Ng class is applying the class for that. One second. For structural directives and attribute directives, component directives. Attribute directives is nothing but ng style and ng class. Here we are applying the style to that components, and component directives are the special directives as a template views or the template URLs. It shows only something in DOM elements only. So up to now we don't use these two directives. Just we are using only structural directives. Uh, Structural directives used for adding or removing HTML elements from the template. Commonly used structural directives are ngif, ngfor, switch. Here in C we know about the if and the if else case, but now in Angular, ngif having only the Boolean values. That means true or false. If you are having any something hide and show means it will using the ng if here. Ng switch case is same as that C. It will showing the number of cases here. And then ng for use it for the render the list of HTML elements. So now I'm going to use the ng for in my application. So now in this tr, for this row only I'm rendering the list of elements. So I'm having the number of record means I want to showcase within the one loop only. So now I'm using ng for here. So same as star ng for, we are write that this is the syntax for this star ng for equal to within quotations only we can write the logic. So I'm writing the logic for is let course of courses. This is the courses. This word should be in TS file only. So home.component.ts we are having this word courses, right? So here I'm having the small letter. So mushroom should be here also. We need to get the small letter for this. So courses of courses. So I'm getting the one record in one course. So here I'm binding with the course.id. So I'm not getting the here in JSON also we are having the thing is courses, right? So ID name courses. Here we are having the small letters same like that only we should be there here. So because of if you give the name first letter is capital means you should be same as here also should be capital name N for the name. So I'm giving the all the small things because of don't confusing here. So that's the reason just I'm using the capital not all the I'm using only the small letters here. Sorry for that little bit confusing here. So course here. So things is ready. Now I'm saving the data. So I'm checking with the browser if the I'm getting the data or not. So I'm not getting the data here because just one thing I'm getting the data here with any. So I'm typing the data any. And then I want to store the data. So because of here the one of the cycle is there. So in get resources in the first in Angular constructor will be executed first, then uh, ng on it will be executed, then this get courses will be executed. So for that reason I'm here taking the this dot get courses. I'm taking the get courses method here. So I didn't do anything here, just I'm adding within the constructor, just I'm placing this method here because of the this method calling before at the time of the application will be run. I'm saving this one. Here I'm going to this, here I'm refreshing this here, just I'm getting the data here. So is it clear now? I'm using the HTTP method. I'm fetching the data from the JSON. Here having only one thing. So that is the reason here I'm getting the data, right? Again, I'm explaining this thing. What happening here means here first in data.service, just I'm creating a one method get course list. In this method, I'm returning. What should I'm return? First, I'm getting the details from this URL. Where should I get this URL? In JSON server. So for the URL, I'm getting data and return. So I'm in data dot service ts. So I'm going to the home dot component dot ts. Because of in home only, I'm showing the data, right? So for that, I'm calling the get course list method in get courses. So I'm subscribing the get course list method and then I'm taking the response. So I'm taking the response here and then that response will be stored in the courses. What is this course? This is the one of the variable with the empty array. Okay. Within that empty array, I'm storing the data. After that, in template file, I'm iterate the loop and then bind the data. This is the binding. So up to now clear? This is the JSON server using the service HTTP, fetching the data from the service to fetch the data from the server and showcase in our table. So now I'm here we are having the two buttons here. So I'm uh, add the two buttons here. Already create is there. So now I want to create the data. So here I'm having the form, I'm entering the data. So I want to submit the data. But in the submit method, I didn't write anything because of for that for the fetching only we get the data. But I already told you if you want to add the data to the record means we need to create a one method in the data service. So same like that. Just I'm showing for only create. Uh, here in the service here get the course list. Now I'm create the another method for create course. Okay, for that create course I want to write the logic here. Same thing in return. Same this dot using HTTP only we get all the service methods. Okay, already I said you for the create or add for the both we are using the post call here. We don't write any see here. We don't have the any add or create methods, just only post method is there. Post means we need to add the data. In technical word we are using the post. Here also we are using the same URL. So I'm using the same URL. See here, just I already said you about that. Hmm, yeah, no problem. uh, Here already said you optional parameters is there. If we are having the number of course list is there, if you click on the one course it will showing to the course details. uh, it will showing only that particular course. Why should it will be done? Because of we are passing the parameters. So here also in create course I'm creating one thing and add it to the server. How it will store? By storing only the parameter. So now I'm sending the one of the record. So I'm sending the record with the type of the one of the parameter is course. I'm adding the one course record. So that is the reason here I'm adding comma course. So along with this URL, I'm done with the thing.
Hello, Sirisha. Sorry to interrupt. Can we give the lunch break to the candidates?
Uh, yes, within the 10 minutes, I will close the thing on it.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. So here for this is the method for this. And then here we are doing only just we are passing extra thing is the we are changing only for that get method we are using the get only. And then for the post we are using only for that adding we are using only post. For that creating the one thing means so we need to post the parameter. So for that parameter just I'm passing only one thing here. And then now I'm going to saying this file. And then again I'm going to the component. Now I'm going to the create component. Because of in that create component only I'm having the form, right? So for that create form here only I'm doing that method here. So for that in this submit this dot so already I said you about that dependency injection. For that home component.ts, here I'm injecting the data service, right? In 11th line. Now I'm in home.component.ts. So same time, same thing in create.component.ts. In constructor, we need to import, inject that dependency. So I'm taking the another private variable. So same instance I'm using ds here. For that I'm data service injected for this. So now after this form submit form, this dot ds dot, now I'm having the two methods here, right? One of the create course and then course list. Now I'm going to the create course. In that create course, again I'm subscribing this method. So after this subscription, I'm getting the response. So again I'm get the response here. After that, I'm using the arrow method. So for this response, but now I'm not getting the anything here. Just I'm only post the data to the server. So I'm not getting the any response. So that is the reason whenever I'm clicking the submit button, it will redirect it to the form. Sorry, for the table. So that's the reason here I'm using the route here, back route. So that is the reason here I'm having the dependency. So again, I'm taking the one of the private variable here. So that one is the route. So this route will be came from the activate route, activated route. So here we are getting the error because of the we need to pass the value. So I'm sending the value as this dot student form dot value. So whatever we are having the in that student form, that value will be stored in the table. So here I'm giving this dot route here. So route dot navigate by URL here. Navigate by URL. In this URL, just I'm removing the slash. One second. So this is not activated route. So one second, I'm deleting this thing and install again. Private variable taking the route. Activated route. So now I'm coming back to this. This dot route dot. So navigated by URL. So it will not be executed. So okay, no problem. Just I will see the code for now. So we will go to the browser. Uh, Now I'm refreshing this page. Just now I'm giving the data. Now up to now we having only one record here. So now I'm going to create the another record here. So RAM, Angular. So I'm submit the data. So see here within the here the record will be added here. So the course is not come because of the we are giving some thing in code means it will showing it will be I think some spell mistake is there, but this is the process to storing the thing. Now the data will be added here, right? So 1 second, I'm going to the home.component.html, course.course, and then in create HTML, form control name. Yes, I'm giving the form control name. It's a small letter. So that's the reason now I'm again refreshing the code. So it's not come. Then again I want to create that create. So now I'm giving to the Yahoo and then course is view course and I'm submit the data. So I'm going back and checking here. Third record will be added here, right? So name and course. So same as this, we need to do the edit and delete options for this for that component. So in HTML, just I'm adding the two buttons here. So just only I'm editing the buttons only. I'm not doing anything here. So don't worry. After the lunch break only, we will discuss about the things. Then only we will do the calculation only. Just I'm adding the things here within the TD tag. For this, we will do the functionality later. Here application for the every record, we should maintain this thing. For you want to edit this record, you will click on the edit button, and then if you want to delete this record, you will click on the here. Just this is the CRUD application, this process. Now I'm just creating only two methods in the server. There is a one for getting the data from the server, and then next one is the creating the data. Now remaining two things will be post lunch we will do that edit and delete buttons. Okay. uh, for this clear means we will take the break for the lunch. Okay, Anil, you can carry on. Anil. Yeah, up to now I'm clearing about that sending the data and fetching the data. So after post lunch we will do that edit and delete. Then after that two things we will work on both parallelly for the CRUD application. Like okay, yeah, thank you.